Hi, my name is Jacqueline. I'm 34. I'm a type 1 brittle diabetic, and I am making a series of small videos for the amazing people in my world who I truly love. So I can explain what's going on directly to them. And also in hopes of inspiring conversations about type 1 brittle diabetes, about how we protect and care for people who are sick, and also in hopes of encouraging people to keep demanding that more medical research goes into type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes only makes up for 5% of all diabetic populations. The thing about us is that medical science does believe this is caused by an autoimmune virus. The diabetes itself is a response to that. Now that type 1 diabetics are living longer, we are also seeing that the autoimmune virus doesn't just destroy your pancreas, it goes for your entire endocrine system. Type 1 diabetes cannot be controlled through exercise and diet. The best way to think of it is to say that your body is a car. And all of your organs are pieces, vital parts of the engine, right? So you take in food and think of it as crude oil, if that helps at all. So you eat, you drink things, these things are like crude oil to your body, right? And then what happens is this crude oil, or glucose, is processed by the pancreas. The pancreas secretes specific enzymes and cells to turn this glucose into a healthy energy source for all of your organs so that they can continue to run. What would happen if you poured crude oil into your gas tank? You'd destroy your car engine and your car would die. Not to be flippant, but that's exactly what happens in your body too, except your body thinks that your pancreas is an invader, that it itself is the sickness, and therefore it attacks it and destroys it until it can no longer produce islet cells, and you stop secreting more and more digestive enzymes as as you get older. Type 1 diabetes, 1 in 20 of us will have a low blood sugar. This is when our body burns through too much sugar to the point that it's kind of like overheating your car. Tons of adrenaline gets kind of unloaded into your bloodstream. You become disoriented. I've forgotten who I was before. I've forgotten that I had diabetes before. You lose hand-eye coordination. You can have seizures, and you can die. Not a lot of fun, right? So when it comes to type 1 diabetes, everyone's pretty confident that aside from it just being an autoimmune virus, that you have to have certain genetic factors, and that there's something about it that's environmental as well, that triggers or allows this autoimmune virus to affect your body the way that it does. That's the case for most people. Then there are a small group of people like me. See, I not only don't carry any traits for any form of diabetes, I actually carry 2 traits that are supposed to protect me from both type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. There are many doctors who think that things like measles, rhumbulia, various other childhood infections that can be serious, that these infections, measles, mumps, can actually bring on type 1 diabetes. By that meaning that there's just there's such devastation in that your autoimmune system is permanently changed, and that something about this affects the pancreas. We also know that as you go further north of the equator, that type 1 diabetic populations actually start increasing. There goes your environmental factor. I got all my vaccinations, and parents, please, please, please give your kids vaccinations, because believe me, vaccination for the mumps, it's not worth the life of type 1 diabetes. It never stops. And when you're a type 1 diabetic, there is so much misinformation. But for people like me, there's a new terminology that's coming out. It's called idiopathic diabetes, type 1 diabetes. That is less than 5% of the type 1 diabetic population. And what that means is medical science has no understanding of why I am sick. There is no clear reason. I have none of the factors. And like many people, like myself, who are within that 5% community, our disease tends to be more aggressive. We have a harder time controlling it, and we respond to the diabetes as well as medical treatments in a more complicated and complex way. So, if you think it's important that there is a disease that can strip you of your eyesight, that can cause amputations, that doubles your risk of heart disease, that 1 in 20 people will die because there wasn't a Coca-Cola nearby. And 5% of us defy all the odds. 5% of us, medicine doesn't know why we're sick. Who could that 5% be to you? Is it a friend? Is it a family member? If you think that's worth a conversation, please do me a favor and share this video.